Like he put a huge emphasis on the fact that he's a Christian man and he's looking for a Christian woman or a woman of God. And that was one of the main things that we connected on. However, during the entirety of the photo shoot, he was throwing out a ton of sexual innuendos. Like, I want these pictures to be some pictures that make a girl's pussy wet. Or
He
I
said
want,
that? Girl,
girl,
girl, no. I
girl.
can't see you yet.
Why is it not turning my camera? Okay.
Did
Save.
I see you? Okay, perfect. Oh my
Hello.
gosh, Mecca, how are
I'm
you?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing.
Okay, let me
Um,
ask you this first. Do you consent to be on a live and potentially all platforms?
I guess I have to say yes since I'm at the telling my business.
Are
But
you sure? No, no, no. Don't say I guess. Is it yes or no?
yes, fine. I'm fine.
Okay, because we haven't seen you since last year when you went on your first date and we were helping you get
Really?
ready.
Well,
Yes.
I've been in the chat, girl. I've been in the chat. I'll
Okay,
be
you've been in
watching
the
your
chat.
lives.
Fair enough. Mhm.
And I just love you, girl. Whenever you come up on my timeline, I just be like, look there, that girl Ashley just doing her big one.
Hey, okay.
Yes. But we have a new story time that I feel like this will be perfect. You'll be the perfect person to chime in on this one. You ready for this? Okay. So I'll try to keep this quick, but it's a lot that goes into this. Mr. Man, we're gonna call him Mr. Man. He was my he reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm actually a brand photographer. So he reached out to me and he was like, hey, I want you to shoot some brand photos for me. I'm from California. And he was like, I'm looking to like update my dating profiles and like everything because I'm looking for a wife. Oh, I'm the perfect person for you. I got you. Like I'm gonna make it happen. So he comes to my city to do his photo shoot. We do the photo shoot and we hit it off. Like we're at the
Whoa,
photo
whoa,
shoot.
whoa. Wait, Mecca. So he flies from another state to your state to do a photo shoot?
Yeah, but that's honestly for me not to be funny. That's not unusual because a lot of my clients fly from other cities to do photo shoots with
Oh,
me.
excuse me. Oh, okay. Exceptional work. Okay, keep going.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So we do the photo shoot and we just hit it off. We're talking about God and we're really connecting on that level because that's really something that's important to me. We're talking about God, we're talking about just life in general, and he's just telling me a lot about like what he's looking for in a wife and that he's really looking to find a wife. And I'm just like, oh, that's great. And so immediately he's like, before the shoot's over, he's like, well, I would love to take you to dinner. I was like, of course. I was like, sure, I'll go to dinner with you. And he's like, at the when we get to dinner is I'm not gonna lie, it was nice. It was a Michelin star restaurant. It was the whole nine, the whole shebang. He was like, I really want to show you a good time. Like he was a man with money. I would just say that. Let's just say he hit great man with good money. Um and so we go to the photo shoot. We go to dinner. Dinner is going really well. Except what I'm noticing is that he's extremely forward. He's extremely forward, meaning like his priorities were when he was looking for a woman, it was a woman of God who's beautiful and who just like has purpose and takes great care of himself. All a lot of things that you say like is very true. And
Mhm.
another thing that you say that's also true that he says is that is like he likes women who are not so raunchy in dressing, and that's not me. Like I don't dress raunchy or anything else like that. He's like I like a really clean, modest woman as well. Anyway, jump ahead to the story. We go to dinner. Dinner's going well, and then he goes, I want to do a second part of my photo shoot, and I want to do it in Bali. I said, where? And he's like, yeah, I want to go do it in Bali. And so I'm like, okay, I'm interested. My tingles are up. And so progressing through the story, I'm like, hey, I'm interested. I said, let me think about it, but I'm interested in going. And so I set some I set some rules and regulations before I even do anything. I said,
Right, and
when
of course you gotta book your team. He has to book your team. It's not just you, Mecca. You
no.
of course you
So
got a
that was my
team.
number one rule. I said you have to buy a flight for both me and my assistant. It needs to be minimum business class. I said it needs to be minimum business class. It needs to be for both me and my assistant. It needs to be and I need you to pay my proposal before we go because as much as great, I love that you have a romantic interest in me, but it's business first. And so he offers and he agrees to my terms. He's like, okay, let's do it. So he agrees to the terms. I'm like,
Mm. You
however,
wasn't expecting. You was like, I hope he don't say yes. You trying to lay it on thick, and he still. That's what I'm feeling from you. Like, damn.
yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
now I can get into some reservations because all my friends are like, girl, you are crazy for ever saying no. So I get into a bit of my reservations. I'm like, hey, like he put a huge emphasis on the fact that he's a Christian man and he's looking for a Christian woman or a woman of God. And that was one of the main things that we connected on. However, during the entirety of the photo shoot, he was throwing out a ton of sexual innuendos. Like, I want these pictures to be some pictures that make a girl's pussy wet. Or
He
I
said
want,
that? Girl,
girl,
girl, no.
girl.
It's a no. It's a no.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, okay, maybe that's just the way he talks. I'm like, and then he goes like, yeah, when I date a girl, he told me he's like, I want them to like they don't have to worry about anything. I'll take care of everything, but I want them to call me daddy. Now, I'm not against calling a man daddy, like that's not powerful,
Right,
but
right.
but first meeting, first date, first weekend, I don't know.
But the
That seems a little
language, to say, cat, that's just too
anything,
explicit. It's explicit language. And to
anything.
me, he's also testing you to see how far he can push his boundaries. And if you
So
laughed it off and you didn't say anything about it and you went with it, which you did because you even entertained the conversation about Bali, he already knows. Hey, I could I could push up on her kind of thing.
right.
And I'm sure, did he try to push up on you?
Okay, so we're gonna get to that part.
Yeah, because I
Um,
know that's coming.
So the next day we did go to church together. We went to church together. We had a lunch date right after church. Everything was going well until he did try to kiss me. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And so I rejected the kiss, but he still was like, hey, I still want to pursue you. I said, okay, but I need to make this clear to you. Like, I am on an abstinence journey. Like, this is where I'm at right now. And are you okay with that? He said, yeah, I'm very much okay with that. Yeah, I'm very much okay with that.
Yeah, that just made him want him. Oh, a challenge? Oh, okay. I'm gonna
Right.
really get her now. Yeah.
Right. Mind you, yes, somebody said a wolf in sheep's clothing because mind you, he says he's okay with that. We go for and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I'm like, at this point, in my brain, I'm getting a little excited. I'm like, okay, you're willing to pay for both me and my friend. I'm abstinent. You say you're okay with that, all the things. Until he had made another sexual innuendo comment, and I addressed it at that point. I was like,
What did he
hey,
say? What was this comment?
it was like something like, he was like, "Oh, I don't want to make you uncomfortable by telling you that I would want to dick you down, but let me." I'm like, Christian man,
Wait, wait, wait,
Christian man,
wait,
where,
wait, Mecca. Wait.
girl?
After church services?
This is after church. We on the phone because mind you, he doesn't live in. Remember, he doesn't live in my city, so he lives in another city. Girl.
No, no,
so
Mecca. No,
so
Mecca.
I'm
It's
like,
a strong no.
I know, but you know where I was teetering on it because I was like, okay, this could be fun. I'm very clear. Like me and my friend is my assistant, and she's like, she knows, like, girl, we're not playing that game. And so, but at the same time, my other gut feeling, the other part of me was like, I don't know. And this is what kind of secured it was I addressed it to him. I said, hey, this makes me uncomfortable when you say X, Y, and Z. Like it doesn't sit well with me. And I couldn't read through the commentary, but he was like, yeah, but I want you to understand, like, this is how I flirt, knowing that we're not also not having sex. This is also how I flirt, and this is how I like express my like interest in you, and that I am like,
He
you
does
know,
this with everyone. He barely knows you. And he's being that forthcoming, that explicit, saying whatever's on his mind. He does that with every girl. He has no boundaries. And he uses being a godly man as a shield. So
yeah,
you can let your wall down. That's
yeah.
why he uses the church.
Yeah, and I think that's where I wasn't reading it because I was trying to decipher it for myself because I'm like, this is my like it's new for me dating as a godly woman and now trying to like date like a godly way. And so I'm like now I'm trying to decipher it and I'm like, am I
So let me ask you, if your friends was telling you about this man and y'all were in church service, would you consider this man, with all that you know and all that he said, would you consider him a godly man? Emotions aside.
no, no. But it sounded good. And so this is what sealed the deal though, because I'm like, okay. I told him I was uncomfortable with it, and he was like, "This is how I flirt." And then it turned into another hour long conversation, another 30-minute long conversation. And I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm just not like this is not." I was like, "Yeah, but that's not how it sits well with me, and I just want to make sure I'm holding you accountable as a godly man." And he was like, basically the way he positioned it, it sounded a little bit manipulative because the way he positioned it was like we got into a conversation where he was like, I am a man who can, because mind you, he's also older. Because he's like, I'm a man who can teach you something. He was like, he kept putting emphasis on how much value he brought to my life. Like he was like, when you come in, and this another thing how forward he was being was when you come into, he's like telling me about how great moving to his city was, and that how great his house was, and how great, how I would never have to work for anything, and how he can give me an au pair, which is the nanny thing. And he was like all these things, like yes, somebody said it, like he was like positioning himself like he's the prize in the situation. And don't be wrong, like he brings a lot of value, but at the same time, I know I do too. And it was like you're trying to position it where you're like you're bringing more value to my life than it is I'm bringing to yours. And so he was like, yeah, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but what it sounds like to me, I want to just teach you something as a little sis. I said, excuse me, I want to teach you something as a little sis. He says, don't get offended by this, but I just want you to know that I feel like women in general need to be manipulated a little bit. I
Mm.
said, what? I said, who? I said, yeah. He said, women in general need to be manipulated a little bit. He said, when you meet a man like me who is going to be loyal, who has a lot of options, who has a lot of integrity, and makes a lot of money, you need to, there's a way you should act and approach. I'm just like, hmm, I don't know. That was like, that don't sound right to me.
Yeah, he's
It's,
testing you. Everything he was saying was a test. How far can I push her? How far can I go? Let me see how she reacts. Let me see how she responds to this. Let
yeah.
me see if she laughs it off. Let me see if she says, "Oh, okay, I understand this, but I don't like that."
Hmm.
He's testing you.
Yeah.
And you're still on a Lilo. And I know there's 1,100 people here. But on a Lilo, you still considering that Bali trip.
No, no. So I put a pin in I canceled the Bali trip. I told him I'm
No,
not
no, no. You
interested in
put a pin. Before you
not
said
not a pin a
cancel.
pin. I canceled the trip. I told him I
Okay,
wasn't
so
I told him I
no
wasn't going.
pin. You no pin?
No,
Or
there's no pin. I literally told him I was not going. I told him I was not going. I promise y'all, I told him I was not going. But what he did say was, he's like, okay, I'm gonna take a flight and I'm gonna come see you in your city. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And he's coming tomorrow, but I'm like, my I guess my question for you is,
oh,
should
so
I
we didn't put a pin in it.
no,
Yo,
I
we
put a
did
pin
put a
in the
pin.
trip.
We
I
did
mean,
put a pin.
I canceled the trip. I said I'm not comfortable going the trip as like where we are in this like phase of our dating. I was like, this is a little too forward. This is a little too much going on. But he's like, okay, I want to come to Atlanta. I want to just see if there's more here. And I was like, okay. But my question for you is, should I just block him and not see him tomorrow and just be done with it?
What do you think she should do, chat? What do you think you should do? What does your intuition tell you you should do?
Block him.
They're all saying yes. They're all saying yes.
The red flags
They're
are red
saying, you know what you need
flagging.
to do?
The
He's
red.
not worth it. Run. Be done. He is scary. She's
Yeah.
not blocking him.
No, but mind you, this is all happening in real time. So if I'm just processing these emotions, I mean, processing these thoughts like slowly but surely. So
So this
yeah,
is what I'm gonna say, you are an adult and you can make your own decisions.
there you go.
I think there are a lot of red flags from what you told me. But I think he's coming back to your city because he's trying to wear you down. I don't mean like that, but like, let me
No,
show up. Let me text her. Let me call her. Let me do as much as I can just to let so she can let her wall down.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Thank you. I appreciate that because I'm like, I'm mentally trying to navigate this. And I'm like, it's so when you're caught, I'm like also running a business. I also have a lot on my plate. So I don't invest much time into like emotional, thinking things through sometimes. I'm like, okay. So, having to think in real time, okay, get on your toes, see the signs, girl.
But the thing is, Mecca, when you first ever came up on my live, you were talking to me about a guy who was kind of similar. That's when you
Mm-hmm.
first came up on my live. It was about a guy who was kind
Mm-hmm.
of similar, older. And I said to you, you're a beautiful girl. Everyone in the chat was saying it. And I also said to you, I don't think you realize who you are or who I'm looking at.
Mm.
And I told you to work on your self esteem. I told you that. And I think you remember that.
One, I just got out of a relationship back in like January. And so I've been stepping back into my dating life, dating scene, and I just recently met this guy. He's like what I like to consider he's a 10. Great job. One, he's an aerospace engineer. He's a world traveler.
Oh,
He's also like divorced. And you know what they say about being like the
yes.
second wife or the second girlfriend or whatever, but he's like super intentional about wanting to be married and everything else and wanting kids. And so
Check.
Checked all the boxes. And so I'm super excited about him. He was cool. He was really cool, sweet guy, great conversationalist, everything. The only thing is, so the reason why I ended my last relationship was because I'm Christian and I'm like in the process of being more serious about my faith and getting closer to God and all the things. And he just wasn't on that wave. He didn't want to go to church with me. I was like, okay, so this has to end now because we're not aligned. Now that I'm seeing this guy, he's checking off all my boxes, everything. And then also I brought up the aspect of like, hey, this is why my last relationship ended. He was like, oh, well, that's not a problem. I'm Christian. Except me and being in a place where I'm like, okay, now I want to be, like as I'm getting closer and moving closer to God and in my faith and stuff like that, what also comes with that is celibacy. And am I moving too fast, or like, how do I like not come off like, how do I say this?
Knowing
Not
your
come off.
self-worth. Know your self-worth.
Yeah.
Know your
Yeah.
self-worth. Know
But
your self-worth. Know you are the prize. Know you are the prize. Are we looking? You have dimples. Your skin is clear. You have real bushy eyebrows. You have your edges. You're beautiful. But you have to know that. So
well,
me telling you this in the chat telling you it is not enough. You got to know it.
Mm-hmm.
And here
Now
we
that you're saying
are.
it, yes.
Yeah. Here we are almost a year later having the same conversation. And a girl like you could just go out. You can meet a guy who's not going to be talking to you any kind of way. Come on. No. It's a no. So I want you to work on your self-esteem.
Yes.
Too
No.
young, too beautiful, too smart to be dealing with garbage.
Garbage.
Okay? Garbage, honey.
No, you're right though. And I love it. So no, my question for you is like, would you say, okay, take a step back, stop dating, focus on just you, and then
No, raise your
yourself.
standards. Know who you are. You don't have to step back. You're young. You should be dating. Work on yourself, raise your standards, and put yourself out there. Because men, when they're approaching you, they're probably thinking, I think she thinks like this. She must think she's this type of girl. They get to talking to you, and then they're like, she don't know how pretty she is. She don't know how bad. Oh, she don't. Okay. I got something for her because she don't even know.
Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and block him while I'm on the phone with you right now, so I know this ain't it for
I'm
me.
not here. Again, I'm just here to give the advice. You all are adults. You can make your own decisions. That's what I want. I want everyone here to make their own decisions. Myself in the chat is just here to give you a little nudge.
Yay. No, I appreciate the nudge because it can be like, okay, when you're deciphering things like not even by yourself, you're deciphering them with God, but like you just like as a woman, you need to learn, trust your gut. Like it's not telling you wrong. It's not steering you the wrong way. And so, and mind you, if anybody, I see all the comments in the chat box. This is over
And this is
2,
not
3
like
days.
it's not like he went on a date and maybe he was a little corny or it's he said I want to D you down on a first date. I want to see your on a first date. This is what he's saying to you.
Yeah.
That's not some little corny. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Like it sounds like he doesn't have boundaries or decorum. That's what this like it sounds like God forbid you decide to get in the car with him and y'all drive to the restaurant. He may stop on the side of the road and I don't know. It gives
weird. Yeah. Okay.
He's gonna have it his way.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
No, I love it. And I appreciate it. And always look, I'm ready. I'm glad we had this conversation because I'm like, okay, now I feel like,
And
girl,
my thought too is why would a man with that much money, because it does sound like he has money and he's a good looking man, why is he so desperate?
right.
You shouldn't be that desperate. You shouldn't be like, I need to D you down, I need to this. A man like that gets the girls. It takes nothing. He has the money, he has the looks, he has the height. Why is he so that I don't like that?
Well, I think it's because he was like one of the main statements he said. He was like, "Yeah, I can have a lot of girls, but but I like the fact that you are maintaining like this like boundary with me about also saying that I'm not open to doing anything sexual with you. Like that's not my vibe. That's not what I'm gonna give. Like, but yeah. So that's why I was like, when I told him that, I think it was like, you like you said, I've been dealing with you either see a man who sees it as a challenge, like I need to conquer this, and I think he kind of falls in that category of I want to conquer this, or conquer her, or conquer. That's what it gives to me. That's what's going on in my brain.
So if he wants to conquer you, that means he doesn't want to really be in a relationship with you. That's what that also says,
Yeah.
Is he from ATL? No, I don't think he's from ATL. No. So we don't need to get into that because no, you know.
Yeah, I want to tell no
But
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
So again, you know, just think about it, look at the chat, and you do what you need to do, okay, Mecca? But again, you're a beautiful girl. Stop settling, girl. Stop. Know your
Well,
worth.
the thing is
Know
it
your
selling
worth.
if these are like dating experiences and I'm not going past, oh, this is a date. This is like a 2 date max experience. And I'm like, okay, nah, this don't seem right to me. Let me reevaluate and now I can know to move on and not
Yeah,
pursue.
but if you're thinking about seeing him after he disrespected you more than once, that says something to me about how you see yourself.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, he was disrespectful, you know? Like,
mm.
that's not cool.
You're right.
Hmm.
You're right.
And like you said, he said you were a lady, you presented yourself in a classy way, you're not cursing, you're not in short, tiny outfits, you're presenting yourself. Not saying it, even if you wasn't, he should have disrespected you, but that's not okay for him to
Mm,
feel like he could say that and he doesn't know you. That's not, no.
you're right. Ooh, I'm getting checked, but in the right way. Sometimes conviction is good to hear it and take switch up things after you get good conviction. So I appreciate you
Absolutely.
always.
You're welcome. And my final thing is just pray about it. That's what you
Yeah.
can also do. All
No,
right.
absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
darling. Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for coming up, Mecca. Mecca is a beautiful girl. Gorgeous, gorgeous girl. Beautiful, beautiful girl. A man is telling you on a first date at the dinner table, I want to D you down and let me see that. Say straight up, not holding back. And women need to be manipulated. And he has money. He can fly you from here to Timbuktu. He can buy you every bag, shoe. He could get any girl he wants, but he's that desperate. I don't know. Mm-mm. And he said, this is a man of God. So let me also preface it with that. He is a man of God, chat. She said he is a man of the cloth. He is a man of God. He's a praying man who had a praying grandmother. And this is what he's saying on a first date. Yes, that's what she said.